Hello there, Commonwealth from here, and we are about to approach the final week of July. And with it, we're entering August, and on August 1st is the financial fiscal briefing of Nintendo, where a lot of questions regarding the future will be asked by investors, and Nintendo needs some answers to provide, meaning that very likely a Nintendo Direct needs to happen before that point. It didn't happen this week though, but the two final sources of Nash Weedle point to the final week of July. In many indications, that is the same thing that Nate the Hate did also in his podcast, where he said that it's most likely gonna be the final week. Reason very simple, Donkey Kong Bonanza launch being the focus of the first week of the second half of July, then the Pokemon Presents in the week after, and then you have the final week of July. Timing-wise, it is pretty much perfection. We don't have release dates of anything else than Pokemon Legends ZA, and that is in October. Yes, we of course have Dragon Drive in August, but when it comes to September, November, December, they're not filled out. And fittingly enough, we have games to fill out that spot. Namely, Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment, and Kirby Air Riders. Question is, will Nintendo do this? And will they bring anything new to the table as well? Because we know there are projects in development. Beat-em-Ups, who was the first one to bring up the July Nintendo Direct, he said sometime in July, didn't specify any point or anything, was talking about a number of third-party ports, including Death Stranding, Witcher 3, Next Gen Edition, plus of course the big one, the one that we all want to see, Isabelle showing up, giving us the first tease of the next brand new Animal Crossing. Of course not coming out this year, but could be potentially next year, which is obviously the 25th anniversary of Animal Crossing, as Animal Crossing originally came out on the Nintendo 64, though only in Japan, while it was a GameCube game in the West. I would want to believe that that is the case, like a lot of support goes in that direction, and I think a late summer direct, actually in the very middle of it, is a very good fit, because we are not 2 months away from the launch of the Nintendo Switch 2. That is actually very close to what was the case between the launch of the Nintendo Switch and the other. Then we're looking at a similar frame rate. It's going to take a little bit longer than it was from March 3rd to the April direct that we had in 2017, but not by much, before the fiscal update, which is August 1st. Why does this matter? Well, August 1st is a Friday, which means that it's before the weekend and it's before the real start of August. Meaning that Nintendo, by having a direct on Tuesday the 29th, Wednesday the 30th, or Thursday the 31st at the very latest, will be able to bring all the information needed for the games and then follow it up with the sales updates on how the Switch 2 is doing, while also showing, hey, this is only the beginning, we have all these games coming out here, 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 and here, and we just revealed this and this and this. Like, there could be more reveals than just Animal Crossing, and my belief is that we're going to see more of pretty much every game that has been announced, both in the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct in April, but also in between. Yes, I'm talking about Splatoon Raiders, which pretty much was just a tease. It was just a short clip. We haven't really seen proper gameplay of that single-player Splatoon spin-off. And also, if we can get a release date. Personally, I think it's 2026, like it will be for most games that have been revealed after the Nintendo Switch 2 Nintendo Direct, but who knows, they could surprise. So the question now begs, is Nintendo ready to bring this Nintendo Direct, or will they wait until September? Personally, I don't think they can wait until September, because in September they need to have a game, and if I was to point a game in that month, it will definitely not be Kirby Air Riders, because you want to keep that racing game as far as possible away from Mario Kart World. And as a result, you could ask, oh, maybe Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment. I think we've seen way too little of that game for it to come out in September. Personally, I think they're gonna just do the same strategy that they did with Age of Calamity in 2020, that will say bring some trailers here and there on a weekly basis, giving us ultimately a demo to play the first few stages and encourage people to, of course, buy the full game upon release and then release it at a later point. No, September only fits for one game, and that is Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. The game that was revealed over 8 years ago in 2017, which we have heard updates on since 2021, and starting from 2024 have seen actual cutscenes and gameplay. And in the case of the Nintendo Switch 2 edition, it's like very much similar to what we have had with Pokemon Legends ZA, I would say, where we for the most part just saw first Nintendo Switch footage and then a little bit of a taste of the Switch 2 edition in April, but then again went back to Switch footage until the Pokemon Presents, where we finally got exclusive focus on Nintendo Switch 2 edition footage. And I think it's going to be exactly the same for Metroid Prime 4, where the most we have seen, of course, was in the March Nintendo Direct, the one before the Nintendo Switch 2 Nintendo Direct. That's where we saw the story part, and then in the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct we only saw the, upscaled 4K and 60 FPS and 1080p 120 FPS. So I have a feeling that we're gonna see a more beefy trailer for Metroid Prime 4 Beyond with the release date, probably sometime in the second half of September. Or it could be in the middle, but I personally have a feeling it's gonna be the 18th of September or the 25th of September. October, we already know, is Pokemon Legends ZA. Then we have Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment. Now that we have had the Zelda games, both on GameCube Switch Online with the Wind Waker and the Switch 2 editions of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, it's time for more Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment news. And the one thing that we all want is the release date. Because when they revealed Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity in 2020, we got the release date right away. It was November 20th actually, and I have a feeling that they could very well do November 20th for this game, because it is a Thursday, just like Friday was November 20th in 2020, so it would be a way of just, it's just like in 2020. Or they could go middle as well, because it seems like they do go quite middle when we look at it. Donkey Kong Bonanza was July 17th, pretty much middle. Dragon Drive is August 14th, also middle. Then we don't know is September, of course, but it could be Metroid Prime Beyond, likely 18th. 11th might be too soon. Then in October 16th, we have Pokemon Legends ZA, and then November either 13th. I think it might be a tiny bit too soon, but I have a feeling that November 20th is going to be Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment. Then Kirby Air Riders, perfect for December. Personally, I have a feeling that they're not going to wait too long with Kirby Air Riders, though. I think that this game could be maybe in the very start of the month, and that's because Xenoblade Chronicles 2 was that in 2017, and you want to have these games out to still be a part of the holiday push. Maybe they do Age of Imprisonment on November 13th, and then have on December 4th Kirby Air Riders. But that is pretty much what they can do with 2025. Maybe they could fit 1-2 more games, updates to GameCube Switch 2 Online, expansion pack, that, and naturally Switch 2 editions of multiple different games. There are actually Zelda candidates for that as well. Skyward Sword HD is a good example of that. It's a game already that was in 1080p 60 FPS, and the question is, can they bring it even higher than that with a Switch 2 edition or free upgrade, which would of course be more preferable. Both Echoes of Wisdom and Link's Awakening are above 1080p. Skyward Sword HD can also get beyond 1080p. Other Switch 2 editions, Nashville has been teasing Pikmin 4 Switch 2 edition with added multiplayer, as well with Super Mario Bros. Wonder and a couple of other Switch 2 edition games. Xenoblade games have also been talked about that they might be getting Switch 2 editions. And of course, who knows, maybe they will reveal the next Xenoblade game, because we all know that Monolith Soft was missing in the Nintendo Switch 2 Nintendo Direct. Question is, are they ready to reveal it yet, or will they wait until the first Direct of 2026, or maybe even later? We'll know the answer in this Direct, possible September, or later Direct, or in 2026. And of course, third-party games giving release dates. We know that Borderlands 4 is coming out on October 3rd, 2025. Then the question begs, where will Elden Ring be in all of this? Where will Final Fantasy VII Remake be? But that is pretty much all we can have in this, apart from Hollow Knight Silksong. I think this Direct next week, I'll be very surprised if they go beyond that and have to face the investors asking for, okay, when are these games coming out? We need to have specific dates. We need to know what the holiday season will look like, because the next update is not going to be until November. These happen in May, August, November, and then again in February, before the fiscal year ends in April. But what do you think about final week of July Nintendo Direct? Will it happen? Will it not? I want to see your reply in the comments section down below. If you haven't already, then be sure to leave a like, subscribe and press the notification bell to not miss any upcoming Nintendo Switch 2 and Nintendo Direct videos. Last but not least, a big thanks to you for watching and to all our patreon.com/comearound patrons. Special shoutouts go to Raw Producer, JC Funk, and Heroes, Cheryl, Garrett Hoy, Holly Wolf, and Kintaro. You all rock, and please enjoy one or both of these two awesome videos.